What's up guys, it's Cuber72 here, and today I'm going to see how many pieces are on every single Rubik's Cube that I own. Okay, so let's get into it. What do I mean by pieces? Well, it's pieces that move around the puzzle and the ones that you need to be solved. But for some puzzles like the 4x4, there are pieces inside, and they will not count because they're in the inside. They don't need to be solved. First up, we got the floppy cube. This seems like it would have 9 pieces, right? I'm not really sure whether to count the centers or not. Well, if you look at this 3x3, you can see that we could have a case like this. So yes, I am going to count center pieces. So that means this one does have 9 pieces. And it's not even the smallest amount so far, and it's considered as the easiest puzzle that I have. Yep, you guessed it. This is the puzzle with the least amount of pieces in my entire collection. If you don't count the inside pieces. Like, if you look closely... Oh wait, wrong side. If you look closely, you can see there's a piece right here, so... It doesn't count, so it's only as 8 pieces. Okay, now we got the PyraMinx. Okay, as you can tell, there are quite a lot of triangles on this. And you can sort of see that this is just one whole piece, not including the tip. So in total there are 14 pieces, 4 tips, 4 of these parts, and then 6 of these little edges. So we got 14. Now we got the Scube, and this one also has 14 pieces. I guess that's why the Scube and PyraMinx are considered similar. So yeah, there are 8 corners and 6 centers, yeah. Jeez, I don't know what to think about this one. I mean, would these count as pieces, these things? Well, they don't need to be in any orientation before solved, so nope, they will not be counted. Okay, there are 9 clocks on this side, and 9 clocks on this side, so it's 18. And we got the 2x2x3, and as you can tell by the name, and if you know math, you will know this has 12 pieces, not including any of the inside pieces. So yeah, this actually is less than a PyraMinx, but I find this harder. Now we got the 303x2. And once again, by the name, and if you know math, you will know this is 18 pieces. That's actually a little bit more than the 2x2x3, surprisingly. I don't know what to think about the gear cube. I mean, these centers... There is absolutely no way at all they can be switched around, so I'm going to say that the centers don't count this time. But there's also these pieces. I don't know what to say here. Like, it's really hard to calculate the number of pieces on this one. Okay, so you can end up with a case like this, but this piece and this piece are literally connected. They're not 2 different pieces, they're the same piece. Because when you rotate the gear cube, you can see this sort of follows, and these two never separate, no matter what you do. So, the number of pieces is 32. Yeah, seems like a weird number. And we don't include the centers, because they literally do not matter at all. Like, literally not at all. They don't affect it at all. So, yeah, this is more than a normal 3x3 for some reason, even though it's easier. We got this, the color shift. And there are literally only 12. I mean, it's not as easy as, like, some of the other ones, but it's literally one of the most simple ones that most people can solve it, unless you have negative IQ or something. No offense. But yeah, only 12. The same amount as the 2x2x3. Got the KIlominx. Okay, I don't know why the centers are colored at all. Like, most of the other ones are not like that. Look at the Master KIlominx. It's got way more pieces, literally basically the same thing. But look, they are black. It wouldn't matter where the centers are placed. Here, I don't know what to say. I mean, should I include the centers or not? I mean, if I didn't, it will be 20 pieces. If I did, it will be 32. I'm just gonna say that they don't count. I mean, there are other versions where these centers don't really exist, so yeah, 20 pieces it is. Now we got the regular 3x3 Rubik's Cube. And you would think it is 27, right? No. you do not include the ones inside. Plus, there isn't really an inside piece in there anyway, it's just a core. So this one actually has 26. That was surprisingly less in the gear cube. I don't know how, but we got this one now. This is one of the more trickier ones to figure out. And this one is 30. You see there's 4 centerpieces which can actually move. And there's also these tips and these. So that makes it a total of 12. And then there's these edge pieces. There's 6 of them, there's 3 in each piece, so it's 18, and then adding that is 30. Again, how is that less than the gear cube? Anyways, the square one. I have no words. How? How does it have less pieces than the 3x3 and the gear cube? It's way harder, and it also shape shifts. Like look at the weird shapes I can make. It's crazy. Anyways, the number of pieces is 18, which is literally the same amount as a 2x2x3. I mean, 3x3x2, and a clock. It's way harder than those two. Now we got the FTO, face turning octahedron, and this has 42 pieces. I had to figure it out before recording this because it was kind of hard. I feel like I should do that for every single one. Anyways, why the hell is this not a WCA puzzle? It's fun to solve. A lot of people want to do it. Now we got the twisty cube. And despite being harder than a 3x3, it is still a 3x3. So it still has 26 pieces. Okay, now we got the mirror cube. Look, I was too lazy to fix it, okay? It just broke in my hands as I was grabbing it over here. Yeah. So, again, this is a 3x3 shape mod. So, 26 pieces as well. Unless if you consider it 28 pieces, since 2 centerpieces broken off. Okay, never mind. That was the most unfunny thing I said before. Anyway, now we got this. And despite being a bit tricky to solve, it literally only has 16 pieces. Like 2 2x2s. Stacked on top on each other. 2 2x2s. That sounds wrong. Seriously though, how is that got less pieces than the clock? It literally has 18 and it's way easier. Anyways, now we got the 2x2x5. The one that doesn't have the center in the direct middle of the puzzle. Okay, so yeah, as you can tell by the name, it's very easy to tell how many pieces it has. And there's 20. That's more than the clock, but somehow less than a lot of the other easier ones like 3x3. Now we got the corn cube. This empty spot right here can count as a piece. I mean, if you move that up, it changes its position. So yeah, there are 8 colors and 6 of each, so 48. That's quite a lot. We're getting to ones with a lot now. Okay, we've got another one with a lot of colors, and yeah, 6 colors, 10 of each, so 60. It does not matter how these or this are orientated. So yeah, it's only 60. Now, however, for this one, despite being harder than the previous one we just looked at, this one has less pieces, and maybe it's harder because of the fact it can literally turn in many different ways. Like, you move them around 1, move them around 2, and move them around in 4. So yeah, and it's got 48 exactly. There's 8 here, and then 20 each for purple and red. Wait, I'm sorry. Did I say 48? I meant 56. I sort of missed one of these. Whatever. Okay, this is a really hard one, and despite that, this is still a 3x3, so it's gonna be lower than a lot. Now we got the 4x4, and maybe 4x4 by 4 dimension. I don't know what I'm saying, but there's none in the direct middle, so there's only 56 because 2x2x2 block in the middle that doesn't exist, so it's only 56. Okay, now we got the KIlominx. There are 20 corners, 30 edges, and 12 centers, and adding all of those up, it's 62. Quite an uneven number, if you ask. It's double 31. That's literally it. Nothing special about that number. Okay, now we got the 5x5. Despite being only a little bit harder than the KIlominx, in my opinion, this only has 98 pieces. Not even 100. Like, 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. And 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, so taking away 27 from 125 only gives you 98, so yeah. I really screwed up my words back then when I was saying 5 times 5 times 5. I don't know how I screwed that up, but anyways, 6x6. So we got pieces including the ones in the middle, which makes up 216, and then we take away 64, and then it's 160. Yeah, I can't do maths anymore. Sorry, I actually meant 152, 168. See, I told you how I'm getting tired of maths. Now we got the Master KIlominx, and yeah, you guessed it, it's basically a bigger version of a KIlominx. And it's easy to figure it out, because we got each corner like we did the KIlominx, and you know we're not including the centers. So there's 7 pieces in each of these corners, so multiplying it by 20 would give me 140, so yeah, 140 pieces. Okay, I had to spend some time to figure this one out, because we are getting to the really big puzzles right now. We're close to the end, but it's gonna be a wild journey working out the amount of pieces for each of these. Anyways, this one has 218 pieces. Not a special number at all. Now we have the KIlominx. I wasn't sure whether to count the centers like this and having the corners like those and the edges like that, or to have just centers as one and then the corners and edges are bigger. And I went for the second option, and there ended up being 242 pieces, which is quite a lot. Now we have the 8x8, almost 300 at 296. That is a lot. We're almost there. We will get there eventually, and maybe we could pass 500. Now we have the 9x9. We are getting really high, almost 400, with 386 pieces. We're quite close. We'll get there eventually. Okay, now we have the Elite KIlominx. I could just get this off the KIlominx and just count the number of pieces on one of these corners and then just multiply it by 20. And I counted there was 19. So there are 380 pieces. I don't understand how that's less than a 9x9. Like, only just barely, but still. And that's not including the centers, because I didn't include the centers. 10x10. Okay, this is a very high number. 488. 488 is the highest so far. Almost 500. And there is no doubt that the 11x11 will not beat it. It is 100% gonna go over 500. And maybe even 600. I haven't even calculated it yet, so it could happen. And finally, we have the 11x11. This barely goes over 600 with 602 pieces, making it the most amount of pieces out of any Rubik's Cube I own. So, that's the number of pieces of every Rubik's Cube I have, not including any repeats, and also not including the Sudoku Cube. They are all organized in order, in a snake, because that just shows how many Rubik's Cubes I have. And for any ties, I just put them by which ones were harder. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Bye.